with our late IHP show 2, let's just keep focusing in on those lovely genuine relationships and romance if it comes up. So the Lionsgate portal, it's closing, and it got all of us to recalibrate in our lovely for those divine feminines for those divine masculines. And that means being yourself. And that means man, woman, they, doesn't matter, spiritual or not spiritual. Genuine relationship means you have healthy self-worth and secure attachment. So you are working on it or you have it, and you want to have functional adult love language relationships. That's here at IHP, so no chips on the shoulder. You can be from one end of the spectrum politically and me the other. Doesn't matter how extreme, you take it however far you want. I'm not a 14-month-old. I can handle having a conversation. Obviously, if we're going to be romantically involved, we will have to have mutual, intellectually satisfying interests. Otherwise, it's a no-go. It's automatic. As well as mutually, emotionally, meaning you have comfort with all emotions. That's it. You don't project. Your little attitude is not going to be in the room. There's no boxing gloves. You know how to navigate your nervous system because you're self-aware, you're self-accountable, and you're self-regulating. So we don't do this 20-80% bullshit. It's not a mathematician score. That's the left motors. They organize things. Those of us who have our full-fledged inner child in the forefront, we're not planning on dumbing down our emotions, meaning that if somebody doesn't want to be in their hilariousness yet, totally understandable, then you're not a match. This is my point. Okay, so it's not to say somebody can't be in laundry. No, they can. There's a Zen master for them. It's not going to match those of us who have emotions in our body and not laundry. Because our nervous system is actively active, because as our lovely Dr. Daniel Siegel describes eustress, and I am a person that gets eustressed between panic attacks, between clairs, and between channeling, all of it, because perceiving the collective and having your oversoul, it is a beautiful gift. But what I'm saying is there's a bunch of things that take place in one moment, and I won't be being the depths of me with anyone who actively dismisses any of my clairs as if it's stupid shit, because it's not. Science explains it. Science is not a person of faith necessarily. If they are, then they'll know what I'm talking about. So when you feel it in your bones, I can explain dark matter, dark energy. And it's satisfactory to a divine feminine, because darkness is not something scary, because it's not Lucifer, fallen angels, and angels. 5D is beyond this story. Again, we can translate everything that is within the spectrum of evil with a Michael Stone scale, and they all need therapists. So there's no need to demonize and no need to use that word with any entities, people. The ones who use it in conversation is very different. I've heard people, but I talk to them, they talk to me, we're having a conversation. When they're labeling, like saying that those of us who understand psychopathy lack imagination from mouths of people who they don't lack education. That's the part. They don't even lack status. They got status, they got education, they got all of it. And they got followers. This is the saddest part. But see, those lost boys, lost girls, lost days who look up to Peter Pan, they are actively in that in group, which is why the person actively will speak like other people with an in group. So they use words as, oh, here's my in group. They don't do it consciously. It's automatic. You're going to find the illumined ones and the one-focused ones and all of those in illusion land very easily if you're divine feminine, like I've been sharing. Okay, so genuine relationships and romance doesn't come from buffoons. Buffoons are people who actively don't have their inner child in the forefront. They don't have to. As I was saying, you don't know how to talk genuinely about anything. It's not a relationship. You don't know how to handle your mood. You're still a teenager, basically, in a room full of grown-ups, if there are grown-ups around. So when Pacha's around looking into genuine relationships, so the Lionsgate portal, you want people who are people, not chips on their shoulder. That's pretty straightforward as it gets. In fact, the thing is this: you have an array and a variety of human beings that are your friends. The ones who are genuine are the ones who are their self. And that's because those are the deep ones. So depth of connection can only come if you and I actively know how to deal with uncertainty, unexpected and unwanted with smiles and laughs from our hearts. And that's because of the flow state. It's beautiful. That Zen master is missing out so much on everything as long as he keeps on thinking of emotions as laundry. But remember, please, enlightenment, soul age group, and connecting to this lovely sphere, there are 4 paths, at least somewhere read. There's more than just the 4, but these 4 mention bliss, delight, loss, and pain. So those on loss and pain, in fact, they get lost in it. It's unfortunate because they don't have to, but we have different voices for different groups. The 5D voices are those who are supporting humanity to evolve and expand consciousness and to grow more loving, just like Jesus taught any of us of true faith, and God of true faith. The ones who want to use their rigid mouths, they can use their rigid mouths. The only ears that actively think that what they're speaking is any truth are the same who have blinders on and who don't have ears that hear or eyes that see, because their heart isn't open and their inner child is not in the forefront, and they don't have a Lucifer. No, they have an unresolved and more trauma, which means that their first year did not get securely attached. 3 years shame, something happened and they fell for the snake oil business, which is what they like to talk about with pseudoscience people. Snake oil is actively when you are cheating someone from something, and this is the part of where words mean something to other people. To those of us who are empowered, we actively look to ensure that we figure out. So there's words that I haven't done a list yet, but that's going to be one of our exercises. Words that are emotionally charged for you, because there are words, but it depends. It has to be put into context. Okay, and with that being said, genuine relationships are where you get to talk about everything, and if you're having disagreements, which are splinters, you don't block, unfriend, and tell each other you're not friends each other. You can talk about each other. That happens. We talk about each other behind our backs, in our faces. This is the part where perfection doesn't exist, and the only people who actively stay rigid in a way of, oh my God, are the same teenagers that are on Cusco's journey. The functional adults understand that we can all be considered gossipers, we can all be considered talkers. Nobody that is a genuine relationship is going to end the relationship, because there's always a way to work it out. We can work it out. We can work it out. Life is very short and there's no time for huffing and puffing, my friend. No. So that's actively what a divine feminine will know, which is why as a whole 3-year-old heart, we will just want a hug, to share one and to give one. And, it's really beautiful when you meet people who know what genuine relationships are all about. And again, that's why we don't think of things that have happened as, oh my God, there's a bad thing. And then we think of those who don't know how to address things, and that's a sad thing. Okay, so here's where let's bring back sciences. So sciences makes any divine feminine humble. The pretend feminines, they're not humble. So we're going to put the pretend feminines aside because they have clairs. In fact, you'll hear them say, see, I told you. See, I foresaw that. See, my clairs are right. So, again, leave 3D, 4D alone, but you'll notice them. And my sigh is because there's a bountiful of people online who consistently repeat this every now and then. In my tarot readings, I follow a bunch of people, and I'm like, that's so cute. They want to make sure that we know that they're for real, like we didn't know that. Okay, so this is why faith and being connected to all that is, this love, this essence, is completely not, I'm going to prove. You don't prove faith. You don't prove spirituality. There's a difference between sciences and spirituality. So divine feminine doesn't prove genuine. You either know it or you don't. And actively what we'll know is if you don't have a genuine desire to be in a relationship with us, because you won't be romantic, you won't be talking to us from the heart. Oh, yes, we'll make sure to let you know. No, we won't. We'll actively simply know I got a Cusco sound. So after Lionsgate, we get to keep building genuine relationships. The level of depth depends. If you have a functional adult, you're going to know. Mwah. If you have an adaptive child, mwah. And that's because they're all beautiful. All of us 3-year-olds, and we get to support those who are healing trauma because they won't want to be around us if they're not actively getting their emotions involved. So unconsciously loving each other with our lovely relationships. Tune in for more.